The Keokuk County Veterans Affairs Office will host an open house on Thursday, June 27th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The office has relocated to the first floor to offer easier accessibility. Stop by to meet Michelle Herman, the commissioners, and enjoy a light lunch. The Keokuk County VA Commission is located at the Keokuk County Courthouse in Sigourney, Iowa at 101 South Main. Again, the Keokuk County Veterans Affairs Office will host an open house Thursday, June 27th from 11 to 1. The 4th annual Travis Greiner Memorial Tractor Ride is Saturday, June 29th. Sign-up begins at 6:30 a.m. behind Greiner Crop Service, east of Keota Water Tower. Free will donation. Includes lunch and snacks along the ride. Proceeds to Area 4-H and FFA fairs. The ride leaves Keota at 7:45 and will be a 60-mile round trip. Sponsored by Southeast Iowa Tractor Association Incorporated. It's the 4th annual Travis Greiner Memorial Tractor Ride, Saturday, June 29th. And if you don't have a tractor, come and watch along the route. The Keokuk County Expo Fair Kickoff Barbecue Cook-Off is Saturday, July 13th. $100 per team, up to 4. Deadline to sign up is Friday, June 28th. Cash payout is $350 to first place per category. Meal for the public starts at 5:30 with a free will offering. Be sure to sign up by the entry deadline, June 28th. Stop at the Keokuk County Extension Office to pick up a packet. Proceeds to support the Keokuk County Expo. Sponsored by Keokuk County Farm Bureau. Contemporary Christian artist Leanna Crawford is coming to the Watch Year Opera House in Watch Year, Iowa, Saturday, June 29th at 7 p.m. Doors open up at 6 p.m. Advance tickets are $15 plus tax, $20 at the door.
Hey, it's Leanna Crawford, and I am so cheery to be coming to Watch Year, Iowa. It's going to be such a sweet night of music and praising Jesus together, and I cannot wait to see you there.
All proceeds to support the Tri-County Food Pantry. Brought to you by the Watch Year Methodist Church. Ticket information can be found on the Watch Year Methodist Church Facebook page.
Welcome to this edition of Morgan You Asked For podcast on a Tuesday night, the 25th, a little after 7. Special guest tonight, Zach Tremmel is in. Trevor's busy this week. I want to thank Zach for joining us. He's our replacement guy. He's always game for coming in when we need him. Really like getting his thoughts and his kind of love of sports. And then obviously as a native Southeast Iowan, it's always good to have him, his opinions and everything here. We're going to start this episode with a non-sports topic that's happening kind of a long ways from us, but I think it will affect us in the coming probably about week, maybe a little bit less, but it is the flooding in Northwest Iowa. Sioux Falls, Sioux City, Okoboji, Spencer. I've been to all those places, and actually I just saw today that some roads in like I-29 around Omaha, Council Bluffs is closing because obviously all the water is just coming down the rivers. Okoboji, and especially with this next weekend, not in like 3 days, but, in 10 days is the July 4th weekend, the economy of that part of the state. And then as you get up into South Dakota and further up the Missouri River, lots of lakes, lots of summer homes. The economy of that part of the world right now is in jeopardy. The summer is where they make their money. There's lots of resorts on Okoboji and Spirit and some of the lakes up there that they make all their money from Memorial Day to Labor Day. And probably July 4th is their number one week because there's lots of people, especially this year with July 4th being a Thursday. You get done with work Wednesday, you drive up, you stay there, but then you stay Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you head home. And I know people there. I've stayed at those lake places, and it's just sad. And it also shows you the immense power of water. I was listening to somebody talk today that there might be not a more powerful, thing on this earth than moving water. You think about the Grand Canyon and things. Over time, water will wash away everything. And it's heartbreaking to see, being in Oskaloosa, we're pretty close to the Des Moines River. Obviously, we're not going to flood here, but the Des Moines River is going to come up. And luckily, we have Saylorville Lake and Red Rock Lake to control it. But over by Sigourney, where Zach's from, in between Oskaloosa and Sigourney, is the Skunk River. That river is uncontrollable, so it's going to come and it's going to do whatever it does. The Missouri River, there's dams above Sioux City, but once you get past Sioux City, there's not any more dams to control it. And then the Mississippi River obviously is controlled by locks and dams. But if you can't control the water, it's just going to go wherever it is. And most of us in Iowa and everything have seen the images of the dam by Mankato, where the water essentially just goes around it because it was rushing too fast. And just imagine if something like that would happen at Saylorville or Red Rock and what would happen. I know that was a 3-4 minute kind of monologue there, but Zach, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Any of your opening comments or anything?
Yeah, it's just, just seeing all the videos, pictures and stuff on Facebook. It's almost like so hard to believe. It's such surreal just seeing what's going on, seeing like baseball fields that are completely washed away. The whole town of Spencer is big. The water was up above Casey's. I mean, the whole town, it's just, they're going to be set back for years, and, they'll get through it, but it's going to be a rough stretch for, a good year or so just to try to rebuild their towns. But it's so hard to believe.
I mean, you think about Spencer, where are you going to go to get gas? Where are you going to go to get groceries for the next year? Like exactly what you said. Casey's is underwater. I saw O'Reilly Auto Parts. I mean, it's every store in the downtown is it's not 2 feet of water. It's like 8 to 10 feet of water. And I don't know if you've ever seen flooding or been involved in that, but it's not just the water there. When it leaves, it just leaves mud. And you just get mold, and you just essentially have to tear it out. Even, just when your sewer backs up or, too much water gets in your basement, it'll ruin a basement, let alone 8 feet of water. And
Yeah,
that's just a few inches.
It's going to totally destroy, houses. I mean, they're going to have to rebuild. I mean, I just remember when Iowa City and Cedar Rapids were flooding. I mean, the water how high it was. I mean, it's almost impossible to believe. Like in Cedar Rapids, it was all the way up to the interstate, and that it's just crazy that water can get that high. But we'll obviously think about them, and hopefully they can get through this, and it'll just be interesting to see how things shake out from it.
There will be parts of Spencer that aren't rebuilt. There'll be parts of Rock Valley. There will be, it'll be interesting to see what happens right there at Mankato where that dam is. Will they rebuild it? It's not a new dam. It's not will they make something new? I just think of Red Rock Dam and how much they've been working on that. Now I know they turned that into a hydroelectric, but they've been working on that for 10 years. And that was a planned thing, not an emergency situation where you have to wait for the water. And there's going to be tons of engineers just trying to figure out how to make it safe around there. And I did see today that there's, yards in Okoboji. And, I don't go to Okoboji a lot. We have family friends that have their place on Spirit Lake, which is different. But half their yard is gone. It's just like a mudslide. It's 10 yards. And then, Okoboji in general just is kind of slowly just walk out. It's not quite like Lake of the Ozarks where it is just straight down to the lake. It's a nice, gentle walk out to the lake, and it's just washed away. And you can't replace that. And so it's just going to be different. And you think about all the retaining walls and everything that are just gone that are going to have to get rebuilt. And that doesn't happen overnight.
I think I saw that dam in Mankato was built in like 1909 or something. So obviously things have changed, but obviously they did a heck of a job building it. So it'll be interesting just to see they're going to have to, even if they think it's safe, there's going to be engineers in there, like you said, checking everything. And, it'll be a process to see how that all shakes out.
Yeah, just again, thinking of that part of the state, I have friends, live in Lamar's and they have one that lives in Des Moines, but then they have a lake house up, even further, and then it's going east. A few years ago, we went up to the Boundary Waters and right along, the north shore of Lake Superior. There's a good waterfall that we went and looked at and everything, and I saw how it was flooded. And coming up in a month, we're going to northern Wisconsin, right along there. And I don't know if the storm and all that rain has happened there and what it'll be different there. But water is a powerful force. And, the sad thing too is, and I've talked to some people that are in the roofing business and everything, and I think we talked about it the other day, but just insurance is so much of a big deal now with the derecho and several, tornadoes. Another, weather phenomenon, the Greenfield tornado, which, obviously I'm very close to, was the highest recorded wind ever. Not when it actually hit, but that tornado was over 300 miles an hour at one time. Now, it was not that when it actually hit the town, but that's unbelievable. That strongest tornado ever recorded this year. And then this flooding that's higher than 93, higher than 08.
Yeah. I mean, and like you talked with insurance, I mean, there's a lot of insurance companies that are that are pulling out of Iowa and aren't even going to insure people in Iowa. And I just don't know what people are going to do. I mean, something's got to happen, but I obviously don't have the answers there.
Yeah, it's way beyond our pay grade, but we both are very lucky and are able to do this, but it does change things. Someone buys a house and I saw that, maybe it was in Louisiana, but Habitat for Humanity homes, that company usually pays, their mortgages, their insurance and everything, and they're having trouble doing that. And just because they budgeted for this certain amount and it's all of a sudden went up 30% or 50% or 100%, or as you said, there's just companies that aren't reinsuring them at all. And then you got to find another one and you're just stuck for whatever percent that is of a hike, and your options are more limited now than they've ever been. And that's tough for some people.
Yeah. It's right now things are tough, pricing, everything's just going up. And then I feel like, we're seeing all this catastrophic weather and insurance companies don't want anything to do with it because rebuilding is just extremely costly right now. And it's some tough times right now.
Yeah. So good luck to everybody up there that's been affected. And we're thinking of you, and hopefully they can get back and salvage what they can as soon as they can, and then start figuring out their lives going forward. And unfortunately, it's not going to be a quick fix. All right. Now we'll transition to sports. Obviously, less heavy here, and it's what you use to get away from things like that. So hopefully, some people have been able to gather in places and enjoy some of this. We had one of the best things in sports last night. We really had two of them, but number one, Game 7, Stanley Cup, where essentially they play till it could go a million overtimes. They're playing until someone wins. Now it didn't. It was 2-1. Florida won. There's lots of storylines to that. One, no Canadian team in over 30 years have won. Florida now has 3 Stanley Cups in the last 4 years. Which is crazy. 2 with Tampa and now 1 with Florida. And, you had the storyline where Florida tries to choke it away, but then hangs on, or Edmonton comes all the way back from 2003 for the first time, I believe, since 1942 in the Stanley Cup final. And then I'm not a hockey guy. I don't watch hockey, but the last, 6-7 minutes of that hockey game last night is some of the most fun in sport, because everybody's, full go. Every pass matters. Every check matters. Every shot matters. And it changes your life if you get your name. The beautiful thing about the Stanley Cup, every person's name gets put on it. And it's on there forever. And I heard today that Evan, for the first time, is now on that Stanley Cup. Somebody from Florida's named Evan. That's awesome. That's kind of, it's kind of weird, but it's kind of awesome. And then I saw today that they took it out to the ocean. And the things that Stanley Cup has seen and done there's stories that can be told and stories that can't be told.
Yeah, you get a game. I mean, any sport, you get a game 7. Hockey's not my favorite sport by any stretch, but we had talked yesterday as well that I was for sure going to tune in for that. I mean, and like you said, those last 6 minutes, I mean, Edmonton was just on the offense over and over. I mean, they were gassed at the end, and
the last 2 minutes they were actually done.
Florida was fighting them off. I mean, it was just good TV, and Connor McDavid still was the MVP of the series, which you don't see very often. I think that's the second time ever in the NHL when that happens on the losing team. But it was a fun game to watch. I'll be honest, it was the only game of the Stanley Cup that I watched, but I'm glad I tuned in. I mean, anytime you get a game 7 in professional sports, a deciding game, the pressure is just, you can't even hardly describe it. And it was fun to watch.